Hi, how you doing? It's David Lee. I'm just doing a bit of reading. Maybe you've seen this book, How to Buy a House for $1. It could be a pound, a peso, a euro, whatever. But it's by my colleague Rick Otten. What I'd like to talk to you today about is, have you ever had people telling you what you should do? People that say you should do this, whatever. I remember Rod Stewart would say, he was talking about his love life, do as I say, but not as I do. I'm sure we've all had that in our life. Let me give you some instances. I'm sure you've had things yourself. When we left in 1994 from Australia to come over to the United Kingdom, we had a very specific reason. Our son had learning difficulties. We needed specialised education and facilities for him, and I was able to come to the United Kingdom, and yet everybody in Australia said, don't do it, don't sell up everything and go away. Well, they weren't going to live our life for us. They weren't going to bring up our child. We have to make our decisions, don't we? And even when we arrive, same reaction. What are you doing here? Go back home. It happens so many times, and even in business. People, when I got involved with doing this, they said, you can't do it in the United Kingdom. And yet somebody came up to me recently and said, this is at a presentation where this is being discussed. You're the internet guy. And I looked at her and thought, dear, you would not be here if I wasn't involved with developing the systems from the ground level. You wouldn't even be at this presentation. And yet I had to go with my gut instinct of what I knew was possible. I didn't listen to what everybody else said you could and couldn't do. And that is what we have to do in business. Now, people, they can give you advice till the cows come home. They can give you their suggestions. They know best, just like my family did. But you have to make the final decision based on all the information. You have to go with your gut instinct. And sometimes it's challenging. Sometimes you're going out into the unknown and you don't know what's going to be the outcome. But if you don't make a decision, if you sit on the fence, guess what's going to happen? With absolute certainty, you're going to go nowhere. In fact, I will suggest that just by making a decision, even if it's sometimes the wrong decision, sometimes just making the decision, because when I was working, developing these systems out in Kent, doing my advertising, speaking to people, I made so many mistakes. And if I didn't make those mistakes, I would never know. So you've got to be very filtering with what you take in, the advice you get from people, because the question is, people can say what you should be doing, but are they going to do it themselves? And quite often I've found, yes, you should do this, David. Family, because they want to look after me. David, don't go and do this. Be careful. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Well, you've got to make that decision. Do you know what you're doing? And then you're just going to have to go with your own intuition, your gut instincts. That happens quite a lot in business. Be ready for it. It's part of the challenge. It's part of the excitement. And be prepared to do what most people will not do. Be part of the 5%. Most people do like the 95%, and they wonder why it never happens for themselves. So that's a few examples of what I talk about do what you think is going to be the right thing. You make up your own mind based on all the criteria, all the information, but make a decision. Thanks very much. This is David Lee.